She had this habit of touching men's arms when she spoke, laughing a bit too hard at their jokes and leaning in just close enough to make them feel special. At first, I told myself it was innocent, just her being friendly, confident, charming. But soon it became her pattern. At parties, dinners, even small get-togethers, she made sure every pair of eyes found her. What stung wasn't only the flirting. It was the way she acted like I wasn't even there, like I was just an accessory instead of her husband. I'd stand beside her, smiling, pretending not to notice, while something inside me slowly cracked. One evening at a friend's birthday dinner, she sat next to a guy I barely knew, twirling her hair and brushing his arm as she laughed at something he whispered. Then she looked right at me, as if daring me to say something. When I gently placed my hand on her shoulder, she pushed it away and said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Relax, it's just a joke. Don't be so insecure." The whole table laughed. I didn't. That was the moment I realized she cared more about being admired than respecting me. Later, I tried to talk to her, calmly, quietly, hoping she'd understand how it made me feel. But she rolled her eyes and said, "If you're jealous, that's your issue, not mine." She called it harmless fun, but there was nothing harmless about watching a woman I loved treat me like I didn't matter. So I started going quiet, not because I'd given up, but because I was exhausted, tired of proving my worth to someone who refused to see it. Then one night, we attended a co-worker's engagement party. She spent the entire evening dancing with different men, touching their shoulders, leaning close, laughing like she didn't have a husband. People noticed. Some gave me sympathetic glances. Others smirked. Instead of confronting her, I stepped outside into the cold night air and asked myself a simple question. Why am I still here? That was the night everything shifted. Not because of what she did, but because of what I decided. From that day forward, I stopped arguing, stopped explaining, stopped chasing. I became silent, not broken, just calm, not waiting for her to choose me anymore. I turned my focus inward, on my work, my health, my peace. I started waking up early, hitting the gym, spending time with people who valued me. I laughed again, worked harder, and for the first time in months, I felt free. She noticed. Of course, she did, but she acted like she didn't care. Until one evening. She came home from another girl's night out, expecting me to be there, waiting like always. Instead, she found me dressed, grabbing my keys, heading out. "Where you going?" she asked. I smiled and said simply, "Out." No details, no explanations, just like she always did. For the first time, she didn't smile. She just stood there, confused. Days passed, and something in her began to change. At social events, she no longer wandered off. She hovered near me, asking if I needed anything. When other women talked to me, she'd suddenly appear, holding my arm. At first, it was subtle, small traces of panic hidden behind awkward smiles. But I saw it. She was finally feeling what I'd felt for months, the fear of being unseen. Then one night, she tried to be affectionate. She rested her head on my shoulder and whispered, "You've been distant. Is everything okay?" Her voice didn't sound confident anymore. It sounded scared. I looked at her and said calmly, "I got tired of being an option." Her eyes widened. For once, she had no clever reply, only silence. After that, she started trying, cooking my favorite meals, sending texts during the day to ask about my plans. But I had already reached a place she never imagined, peace that didn't depend on her attention. She finally understood I wasn't punishing her. I had simply learned to live without needing her validation, and that realization terrified her more than anything. At another party not long after, a woman from my office came up to congratulate me on my promotion. We started talking, respectful, friendly, genuine conversation. My wife watched from across the room. She didn't smile. She didn't flirt. She didn't move. She just stood there, frozen, watching me be the one others admired. And for once, I didn't look her way. Not for approval, not for reaction. After the event, she broke down in the car. With tears in her eyes, she whispered, "When did I lose you?" I turned to her and said softly, "The day you thought I'd never walk away." She covered her face, crying quietly, not because I shouted, but because I didn't, because silence hurt more. That's when it hit her. Love doesn't vanish in a single explosive moment. It fades quietly. In the nights when one person stops arguing and starts letting go. She spent months flirting with everyone around, believing I'd always be watching. But the day I stopped caring was the day she finally started.